All right, Tuck, spice package time. What do you got?
I'm not choosing the one that you want because it's too good, and I'm sure you have a whole 9 yards about it, which I'm excited to hear. So I'm taking that Ramrod. We're talking
Oh,
about our boy,
Rod.
Rod of Absorption. It's sneaky good, I think. So arguably could be a hop, but it is a little goofy. So 2 colorless and a blue for an artifact. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, exile it instead of putting it into a graveyard as it resolves. And then you can also do X, tap, sacrifice it. You may cast any number of spells from among cards exiled with Rod of Absorption with total mana value X or less without paying their mana cost. So in an effort to figure out how to crash my computer so efficiently, I went through and reorganized our categories. We have precisely 2 sorceries, no instants,
Yep,
39 artifacts, 21
yep,
creatures. So I kind of see this as like a sort of repeatable because it's a pretty low 30% for this
yep.
repeatable effect, a way to draw cards, to tutor, to maybe counterspell in a pinch, spot creature removal, or kind of do all of it. Right? I'm feeling like I'm sitting until there's like 4, 5, 6 cards underneath here, and then being able to make my choice after that.
So the reason it's a spice is a pretty easy one. It's because I think people are going to want to get rid of this. So I think this will be something people
Ah,
use their artifact removal on.
it's just gonna be
And
toast on. Yeah,
because when you bring it back, it's now a new target. So everything you exiled with it, you won't have access to. Now it does stay in
sure. Yeah,
exile, which is great.
which is good.
But
Yeah,
that is the kind of crappy part about it. It's one of those, like you said, oh, I'm saving up till I get 5 or 6 or 7. And then right before you want to do it, someone blows it up. And you're like,
yeah,
well,
right, right,
shit, now
right.
I got to start
Yeah,
over.
right
So
before you untap. Yeah, for
yep.
sure.
So yeah, that's the only reason it's there. But I see this card as one of the cheating ways to get around the fact that we run literally no instants and
Yeah,
2 sorceries. Kind of like how I have that permanent restriction on my Brutaclad deck, yet I run Shark Typhoon with cycling to kind of get around it.
yep,
I see this as a way of like we wanted as many artifacts and creatures as we could, but it is good to have instants and sorceries. So it's a 75% deck. Whatever
yeah.
you guys are doing, now I'm going to
I'm
get.
gonna
And
do.
yeah, I guess if you want to blow this up versus the Halo Fountain, be my guest.
Go ahead, waste your removal. Right,
Yep.
I'd be more than happy for you to. And it's
Yep.
artifact, which is sweet as well.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, this is a secret spice of the deck. It gets comboed with Lightning Greaves, which everyone knows, 2 colorless artifact
Yep.
equipment. Equip for 0. Equip creature gets haste and shroud. We're talking Mirror Incubator.
Put me back in the incubator, baby. Put me back in there.
So, Tuck, have you ever seen this card?
No, never.
Good. Because it's
How did you
probably not.
find this?
Just trying to search. I think I just typed in artifacts into Scryfall and just started scrolling through like 30 or 40
I made it
pages.
all the way to made it way all the M,
So Mirror Incubator costs 6. It's $1.12 from Mirrodin. It's an artifact.
which I think
Six
is, to be fair, a little overcosted.
six
This is a
colorless tap.
50% rare.
Sacrifice Mirror Incubator. Search your library for any number of artifact cards. Exile them, then create that many 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens, then shuffle. So, Tuck, when we look at our pie chart, how many artifacts do we have in this deck?
A lot. We have at least nine. Wait, pie chart. Oh, that pie chart.
We at
Oh, I
least
never
have
noticed that before.
39.
Yeah, 30. We have 39, but that's just artifacts, and because
Yep,
tapped out doesn't count artifact creatures.
correct. So we
So
probably
on
have like
top of that,
45 or 50 artifacts that we could do.
hold
So the
on
night.
1 second. Okay, so I don't know if this is by accident or not. Each creature is also an artifact. Every creature in this deck is an
Oh,
artifact creature.
no, I definitely did not do that
So
on
we have
purpose.
we have 50 targets for this thing.
So the nice thing about, well, no, that'd be more because
Well,
39
because we
plus
also have
22.
39 plus 21. Okay, so that's
Oh yeah, 21 if you don't
60.
count the commander. Yeah, 60. So,
And then the land, and then a handful of lands as well.
oh yeah, because I got
That's
like
6.
5 or 6. So yeah, almost the entire deck as a target. So the thing I like about this is you're doing your stuff, you got your Halo Fountain. It's like, okay, I'm ready to win. Mirror Incubator, maybe you're bringing out with Tocasia's ability. I
Yep.
don't know how you're doing it, but once you get that on the battlefield, you activate it, you exile exactly however many creatures you need, or how many artifacts you need to make the creatures to get to 15. And then once you got them, you move lightning greaves to each one, surveil one, you've won the game. So it is a Rue Goldberg machine because technically
Yes.
it takes 4, 10, 16, 18, 23, 26 mana all in to get it done.
To do it one turn.
To do it, yeah, if you were doing it in one turn, you need 26 mana.
I think people are gonna be so baffled when you play this card, they're just gonna be like, I don't know what you're doing, right? So like to me, I'd go like this. I would think about this like turn order that you could do, right? Turn 2 Lightning Greaves, turn 3 Tocasia, turn 5 Incubator, turn 6 Halo Fountain, and close to winning. You're winning on the next turn, right?
You should if you've ramped, but that, I mean, that's
Yes.
effectively meaning you're winning in 7 turns, which is about normal.
Yeah.
Like a normal game of
Yeah, right.
EDH goes 7 to 11 turns, somewhere in there.
Well, and it's such a goofy interaction too, right? Where it's
Mhm.
like, okay, they kill this or they stifle this. Sure, I'm just gonna pump out a bunch of other creatures anyways with my other tokens and
Mhm.
do Halo Fountain the old-fashioned way. Okay, in response to this, you're gonna kill Halo Fountain. Great, I'll just get 40 mirror tokens and just beat you in upkeep. Right? Like it's so goofy.
Yeah, and it's nice that it doesn't do a sorcery speed restriction because they didn't really
Yes.
do that
Oh,
back then. So yeah, I
yeah.
mean, Tuck, to your point, you could be like, you know what? It's down to me and one other person. Let me just go ahead and pay 6 at the end of their turn, and I'll exile every artifact I have left and just get that
Right.
many 1/1s and just go to town.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna win. I'm just gonna win through brute force
Damage.
with it at the
Yeah.
tail end of the game. Yeah. So again,
Um,
very cute pick. I think this and I think this and the gods or the Halo Fountain combo is very spicy. It's very sweaty. The way I like it
Very
too.
sweaty. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the spice package. And now we're going to head over to the bottle capping. And as a reminder, these are going to be Big Tucks, 3 cuts, and a card that he's going to add for under $5, under 50, and then he has one where he has no budget. So Big Tuck, let's get going.
Okay.
What do you think you're going to cut? And then what spicy card are you going to put in place?
So the first one is I have a kind of like a functional upgrade, in my opinion. I have one that has a little bit of a drawback, but I think it's going to help us win more. And
Okay.
then I have one that's goofy, okay, or
All
that
right.
like it's super synergistic. So the first one is I'm going to cut Shimmer Mirror, 3 colorless. Just listen to me out, hear me out, because we talked about this recently. And you're going to like this. 3 colorless for a 2/2 artifact creature mirror with flash. You may cast artifact spells as though they have flash. Vital to the deck strategy.
Yep.
Absolutely vital to the strategy. However, I feel that for almost the same amount, you get a little bit more extra with. This is one of my new sneaky favorite cards in artifact decks. Liberator. Oh no, my brother hears this is gonna kill me. Or gonna make fun of me so bad. Liberator Urza's Battle Thopter. So 3 colorless for legendary artifact creature Thopter. It's a 1/2 with flash and flying, and it says you may cast colorless and artifact spells as though they had flash. And then whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast that spell is greater than Liberator, put a 1/1 counter on it. So for me, really have no drawback from the legendary clause in here, unless you want to copy and make a bunch of
Sure.
shimmer mirrors. So for me, I just think this is almost like a functional upgrade. I like it. I like it.
Now, do you think it would be better to just leave Shimmer Mirror in and then cut the Luck and
And,
Ori for
and
Liberator
cut something
Urza's
else.
Battlethopter? I mean, you already said it. You
Uh,
only got 2 sorceries in the deck. Everything's an artifact.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I guess, the only argument that you could have there is that Battlethopter's a creature, which are pretty easy to kill, whereas Vidalcan Orrery is just an artifact. But that's it's also an artifact creature, so it really gets splits either way. I don't know. I never thought about that before. I guess yeah, right? Especially because and to your point, Vidalcan Orrery doesn't tap for Halo Fountain, doesn't tap to
Correct.
Surveil, doesn't
Yep.
do anything, right? It like
Yep.
okay, sure, it'll be a 4/4 with Cyberdrive Awakener, but by then Liberator's kind of a bunch of one counters. Yeah, I think that's probably the better cut for this
Yeah.
deck, especially, right?
The only advantage I see with Ori would be you could cast your commander because it doesn't say from hand. It just says you may cast on land
Oh
cards though they
yeah,
had
yeah,
flash.
yeah.
So I guess you could Tocasia whenever you feel like it. That's really the only advantage. Huh? You know what? We'll keep it as Shimmermere being cut, but I think if you
Sure.
actually build this deck, I think that might be something to play around with in the list.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
you
And
hate Ori, so
well, yes, and especially because I didn't sell my copies before the price plummeted to $5 because it just got
yeah,
reprinted.
$5? Good
It's
lord.
insane.
I guess Game
So
Nights isn't as popular.
the other, well, of course not, because they suck. Hashtag coming for you, Jimmy. So
So mean.
I was gonna say the last thing on Bulldog and Ori is you don't even our commander coming in at flash speed doesn't really matter unless it's just like because her abilities herself, like she doesn't need to be tapped to get activated, right?
Correct,
So
yeah, it would just be more the, protection or I'm
elemental
just
supplies,
leaving mana
yeah,
up because you don't know what I'm gonna do type thing, so
sure.
Alright, well, what are you doing for an under 50 cut and add?
So this is gonna be I'm cutting this card because I think the one that I'm going to put in is will help you win more efficiently at a cost. So I'm actually
Okay.
going to cut proto matter powder just because it costs you a lot.
No!
It costs you a lot, and I like the individual targets to it, right? But for me, eventually people I think are going to get wise to your commander and they're going to make it more difficult for you to get her out, or
Okay.
they're going to play around it a little bit more. So for me, having another backup to do the same thing that she does at sorcery speed is worth it. Even though it might help your opponents in a pinch, but I think Open the Vaults is going to be a win more card than the powder itself. So Open the Vaults is 4 colorless, double white for return for sorcery that's return all artifacts and enchantment cards from all graveyards to the battlefield under their owner's control. Ours nothing to enchant, remain in graveyards. About $2. So the way I see this is unless you're in a really bad matchup, we're going to get way more bang for our buck off this. It's like a living death, right?
Mhm.
Where if you're playing living death in the right deck, you should always get more value out of it than your opponents. So even though you're giving some of it back, I like the idea of, okay, I can't cast Toski again. I have Halo Fountain, Mirror Incubator, and Lightning Greaves in my graveyard. And now I'm going to be able to potentially win very close to on the spot, if not right on it, right?
Well,
So
you wouldn't because you still need
if you, unless you,
Tocasia for the activated ability of the Surveil, because that's
oh,
how you
sure.
win with Halo Fountain.
Right. So either way, like I just like that you can get a way more back at
Sure.
almost the same cost than proto matter than one target at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you too much there. I would, my I guess my thing with it is open the vault. If it ends up being at the top of your library and you want to
Yeah,
surveil, you can't. Because you have
yeah.
0 ways of getting it back in this deck. So it kind of becomes that whole Gisa and Geralt thing where I'm really challenged. Like, do I want to play them and mill 4? Because if I don't mill zombies, I'm never getting those
I'm
cards
never
back.
getting it back. Yeah,
And so
you gotta be
that's kind
smart.
of what you're going to have to deal with here.
Yeah.
So but hey, I mean, maybe it works better, maybe it doesn't. And or maybe you're just scared of overcosted old cards that cost a dime.
I'm just scared. Look, it scares me. All right, I've looked into the eye of the devil, and he blinked. But proto matter powder, that's the one that really gets me up.
Jesus. All right, no budget. You can put any card in here you want. What are you going to cut?
Okay.
And what are you going to do?
So I'm not sure. I might have missed something, but I'm cutting Godsend? Question mark.
So yeah, I mean, here, for the
Ok-
YouTube and video audience, Godsend, colorless, white, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+3. Whenever equipped creature
Yep.
blocks or becomes blocked by one or more, you may exile one of those creatures. Your planets can't cast spells with the same name as the card exiled with Godsend equipped 3. For me, it's more. This was in it's like almost $7. Um,
Yeah. Right.
for me, I wanted this card in here because I do think having like a little bit of equipment synergy is going to be a
Sure.
positive
Yeah.
for you. And this makes it to where no one's ever going to want to block. Like you
Yeah.
can just
Right.
go swing with that particular creature. And then even if they do
Right.
blow up Godsend, you're bringing it back for only 30% of the activated ability cost. So that's really all it was. But it is a card that can easily be cut for something just
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
It's on her first, and the real shocker is I'm not gonna. So I was like, okay, like I see where I kind of see the tech with the equipment like you're talking about, but
Yeah,
like $7, I don't know. Like that seems like quite a bit, right?
that's a lot.
So, anyways, I'm cutting that with a card that is around the same costed. But this card is going to help us filter the top of our library, right? Potentially make even more creatures that we can tap, or and all three potentially win us the game in a non-traditional way because we're getting sieged with Mirrodin. Because we're talking Mirrodin to siege, baby. I can't believe you didn't put this one in there.
Ah, it didn't come up on the
Ah,
list.
what? It's $8 for an enchantment. And listen, my eBay purchasing addiction has finally come to roost because I bought 4 copies of this for $5 and paid no shipping. So now I'm up $15, baby. So Marauder Besiege is 2 colorless and a blue for an enchantment, which is not an artifact, whatever. As an ETBs, choose Mirren or Phyrexian. Mirren, whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token, and then Phyrexian. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 15 or more artifact cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses the game. So we're either generating dudes to tap down to fill our graveyard to bring stuff back, or we're just winning by shoveling everything off of Surveil into our graveyard and headshotting someone at the end of the round.
So the
Repeatedly.
reason it's not in the list is, as you mentioned, there's only 2 enchantments in this entire list. Smothering
Correct.
Tithe, obvious reasons. All That Glitters, obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons.
This card, while I think it's good, it's going to be kind of the open the vault argument that I'm going to have, to where
Oh,
if this
if
is
you
on
mill it, you're
top,
screwed. Yeah.
yeah, because if you mill Smothering Tithe, you're fine. It's just mana. If you mill All That
Yeah.
Glitters, you're fine. It was just a way to maybe one shot someone because you have so many artifacts. But Mirrodin Besieged and Open the Vault, both of those, you're doing it as, oh, well, this will win me the game.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like,
Right.
you
Right.
don't want to be milling your
Milling,
win
throwing
game
that away,
cards
sure.
and then you never get them back. So that's kind of more the argument that I have against these cards, because I even know that Marketing Ross and SD Sharpie had recommended that enchantment where, everything is, all your non-creature artifacts become creature artifacts.
Rise and
Um,
Shine? No. No.
no, that's
March of the Machines.
March of the Machines. And that was kind of my argument against that. It's like, well, yeah, it's great when you get it out, but if you have to mill it, you literally have no ways of getting it back. So, for me, whenever
Fair
you
point.
build a graveyard synergy deck, you should have ways to get almost any card you want back out of that graveyard. Or you don't have a graveyard synergy deck.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Even in my Carador deck, I have Ewit in there to go get the sorceries, instants, and things that he
Sure.
can't go grab with the creatures. And Ewit's repeatable with Carador. Same thing in like Marin decks. So that's my only thing against this. But once again, it would be just kind of have to see how it plays out. Maybe this ends up being like, yep, I'm just one shot. You guys better kill me this turn. Oh, you did. Now I'm going to
or
kill
else you're
you.
toast. Yeah.
So
Or else you're
maybe it could
dead.
work. But that would be the one thing I would caution you against, is it sucks when you mill the cards that you really like. If you built your deck around and it's going to win you the game, and you mill it.
Yeah. That is a horrible, horrible feeling.
Horrible, just
Horrible.
horrible. All right. Well, everyone, did you know that we are at the end of the episode? And thanks for hanging out with us on this Tuesday morning, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to us on Twitch, on YouTube, all the different platforms. If you would like to leave a little comment, we love reading those, and we do see them when you guys comment on the YouTube videos. Appreciate all the kind words. But if you'd like to get a hold of us, maybe send us recommendations or ask questions, here's the best way to do that. You can get a hold of me at MrComboNumber5 on Twitter, all spelled out except for the 5. BigTuck, have you started your gimmick yet about hot wings?
I was going to ask you about that today. So it's at BigTuck tweeting today, because we were talking about the short shorts that I got, right? I was going to take a picture of me wearing them and then tag you and tag Jared Leto and ask what they thought. So maybe I'll just do that tomorrow. Is that appropriate?
I don't know if I want to see you in your short shorts, but
I have great legs. Plus the cool Nordic tattoos. I know you like those.
I feel like it'd be better for you to do it with like Alexander Skarsgård, because he's played like a Viking.
Oh yeah. Oh,
or like Jason Momoa because of all his tats.
Sure. Yeah.
You can get a hold of our main account at CMDTower on Twitter as well. We will have the deck list posted at cmdtower.com/BNBE169. Basically, type in Combine Chrysalis, Mindlock Orb, Darksteel Citadel, Tower.com. And if you're looking to support us, you can do so a myriad of different ways. Patreon.com/CMDTower, Etsy.com, CMDTower in the search bar, or AbyssProxyShop.com. CMD Tower is your code at checkout for 10% off. All 3 ways are ways that you can help support us, keep this channel alive, and get Tuck some shorts that cover them thighs.
Never.
So
you're the short, baby.
So Tuck, Tocasia, Dig Site, Mentor, say yes to the deck. So what we're going to do is I just want your overall impressions of the deck, and then Or are you going to say yes to the deck and actually try to build it? So what's your impression first?
I liked it. I think I think this does a lot of different things that Bant does. I also think it's built quite differently than a normal artifact deck, right? You know,
Mhm.
I think honestly, I was looking through. I think the reason why I feel it's more fair is because it doesn't have blue in it. Because there's so many backbreaking, like the Tezzeret, like we were talking about on
Yeah.
Saturday, right? There's so many strong artifact synergies in black, so I think it makes it a little bit more fair. I like the way you built it. Like I like that you went for some deeper cards and some recursion. So I will say I am yes to the deck and the way it's built. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to put it to paper because I have two other decks. I have two other decks that I need. I just now today am finally getting sorted through all the decks I dismantled and I already have two more on the back burner for that. And then now I need to go through all those cards that I have to fix some decks that I want to do. And then I have two more decks I already have that I want to build on the back burner. So this will certainly be one of them because I don't have a Bant I don't have a Bant deck. Taking mine apart. So far, if I was to build a Bant deck, it would be this one,
Fair, fair, fair.
or
So
or a version of it.
there you go. So
So good job.
yeah, I think this is an artifact deck that tickles your brain, especially because like I kind of said at the top of the cast, I think what makes this commander interesting is you are able to take really bad artifact cards that we wouldn't normally play in
Yeah.
commander. Like we didn't talk about it, Aetherworks Marvel works beautifully in this deck.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Um, I think that's where it's really different because I will tell you it's a lot of fun with like my Shirai deck being able to take really bad cards and be like, well, it
Right.
works in here. Like I don't care that it's a
Yeah.
0
Yeah.
power or 1 power. Like, and it could die immediately. Like it's coming back. Like, and it's going to do a lot of positive stuff for me. And I think you're going to be able to see, like, especially with, I think this is the year of the artifact, not the year of the short short.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
so I think you're going to see a lot of really freaking good artifacts come out that it's like, oh man, I could totally see how that's great in a 60 card, but it doesn't really fit in Commander. It's
Mhm.
like, oh wait, Tocasia, it works amazing in here.
It kind of does. Yeah.
Yeah. So glad to hear that you said yes to it.
Yeah.
Kind of sad that you have so many decks that you have to build and fix that it'll be on the back burner. But who knows? Maybe
Could be
in
a late Q2 project. You know,
late
could be somewhere
Q2.
like that. Late Q2.
Yeah, we got it
right?
on the
We don't
roadmap, guys.
forecasting. Right, exactly. I put it in a Jira ticket. We're gonna put it into a sprint, right? We gotta get out. We're kind of bogged down in the Q1 for velocity right now, but at some point we will get to it.
All right. Well, that's going to round out the episode. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And remember, stay classy.
Same last week.
Target lost.